Well, hey everyone, it's HeapCVA. Welcome back to my channel. I have to admit I've kind of got off on a tangent here with a game that I just purchased. Mostly because it reminds me of a game I used to have a ways back. I was a big collector of sim titles. Sim Tower being one of them, sim helicopters, sim all kinds of stuff. Sim City, a lot. Every version of Sim City that ever was made, I had a copy of. Even this last version, which was to me, needs to have a hole dug and buried. It was terrible. In any event, here we are in this version of this type of game, and it's called Project Highrise. I've been fooling around with it today. I've had it for 2 days. Didn't play with it much yesterday because I was doing other mods. But I've decided to make some videos of this just to show what I'm doing. I do not like using the term Let's Play. I just don't like it because the group is not playing. Somebody is watching me play, and that's not a Let's Play. Do I know everything about this game? Not even close. I put about 4 hours into it, tripped up a couple of times, done a few things wrong. Hopefully I've learned some things. Maybe I can kind of get you guys going in the right direction if you're interested in playing the game. So I have already checked out the tutorials, which are over here. They're very, very straightforward, very easy to follow. I don't have any mods. I understand there are a couple of mods out there. I'm not to that point yet. Options and stuff I've already kind of set up. So you have two choices here. You can go to a scenario, which I'm not interested in right now. I'm more interested in something that looks like a sandbox type game initially. I may come back to the scenarios later, but to me, I need to learn how to use the game. It has different things to it the further you get into it, and man is it deep compared to some other games I've played. Now I can't get a copy of Sim Tower anymore, so this is the next best thing for me. So if we go into new game, for the sake of this particular version of my videos, I'm going to be playing easy because I'm teaching myself how to play the game. And so I want everything I can get up front, so that I kind of get an idea of what everything looks like as you're putting it together. Other people might do it a different way, and I'll probably go off and increase the difficulty level and stuff over time with different versions of this video. They may even be in different groups. But for right now, simple level, extra large lot size so we can get some size to the building that we're going to build so that we can see everything there is in the game. And so let's get started. Wait a minute. What's the advanced options? Never mind. So we're going to build this thing. I'm going to hit the pause real quick. If you don't know what that is, it's a space bar. And now look how far out we can zoom. And that's how big the building is going to be. 39 stories above ground, 20 below, and we're right in the middle, so to speak, of the building. And based on what I know already about the game, let me show you how I'm going to go about setting this up. Now, money is not initially much of an issue. To me, it's about aesthetics, how the building's built, how I utilize the things that exist in the game and set it up so that I fill the building quickly. So one thing I'll tell you right now is, to me, and it's only me, and part of this is from my time actually studying real architecture. And so that gets in the way sometimes. Both as when I wanted to be an architect, which I never got to be, and my interest in them from the point of view of a firefighter learning about them so that you could deal with them. Pretty much every tall building that I've had an opportunity to look at has what's called a center core, and the building is built around the center core. Some have many center cores depending on how large they are. But that's my mindset, just so you knew that up front. So right now, there's a couple things I want to do to change how I build the game. Number one, it's not going to cost me anything to bulldoze this stuff. It will cost me to put it back together. But there's a reason I'm doing it. Right now, this is the center of the building, and I'm not counting the windows, but if we go and we install an elevator, you'll look at right now it's in the very center of the building. This shed, because it's not really a building yet. So if I decide to make that, and for me, I got rid of the stairs because I want the space. I can create this, but there's a lot more to this than just doing that. First of all, you need to accommodate the building and the widths of various things. And I found this out the hard way, and I'm hoping to save you a little bit of trouble. So I put this in, and that's all great, but there's some other things that need to be installed and to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Now I've tried both sides of the elevator shaft and on either side. To me, it really doesn't matter. What matters most is that what I'm going to put on here is in the right place, because part of the depth of this game is you're responsible for knowing how to install this stuff. And the people in the game, the little human beings, they honestly don't care. So this is a wire closet for electricity, telephone, and I think the cable TV. So that's one side. That moves electricity up the building. Secondly, because of the way that this game is going to play out, and I'm trying to take as little time as possible and move right into gameplay, I'm going to build another closet on the other side of the elevator. So now these two items are installed. Next thing I need to do, and remember this is because I got a ton of money. If I didn't have a ton of money, I would probably look at it in a completely different way. But we have the luxury of cash, which moves fast. I mean, it doesn't last. But let me get these things going. And there's a couple of reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'll explain them to you in a second. Let's see, get over here, go to my building staff, get my builders back, so that somebody will show up for work. Now, you're saying, where's the offices? Where's the restaurants? Not here yet, because there has to be infrastructure in place for me before you can be successful at getting people to occupy your building. So real quick, I'm going to hit fast forward. That'll get my people. There they are. You can see them running down there. There's Marvin and Gene. I put it on fast forward because I want them to hurry up. They're hammering away at that. So okay, we got this set up. And you're like, why are you building basement stuff instead of going up? Oh, I'll take care of that in a second. But if you don't have the stuff, the underground stuff going, you're going to have to come back to it anyway. And like I said, as I've played, I probably had 9 individual towers that I've made mistakes and I started over again. So I've stopped the game again, because the two most important things right now is getting some stuff going on. We need power, And that's all I'm going to do right now. But we will need probably water next as soon as we can. So you look here, we got a few going each way. Most of the high rises you've ever been into, especially if they're hotels, have a lobby. And what that tells me is there's the least amount of construction going on the first floor or ground floor. Some see this is G and this is 1. So take it any way you want. So the first thing we're going to do is go vertical. A couple of spaces. Now, these guys can't get up there, as you know, without doing this. That gets them up there, and you have to drag these wiring closets up with you. If you don't, please do not make the mistake I made and not have a wire chase where you need it and you can't run wire from point A to point B to occupy a office space. Please don't make the mistake I made. So, not a lot going on here right now. What we're trying to do is get the building ready, and if you do the work up front, you will have that time later as you watch people come in. And the reason I picked the biggest building we can build is I want to see everything that's possible in the game. I can go back and do the different ones later, but I really want to build a monster of a building if I can. And so this is a little early for that to occur. I guess it's more timed than I thought it was. And so what this forces us to do is go ahead and go into staff and buy these guys. Not what I want to do up front, but it's okay. I got it on fast forward so they can hurry up and build. There's no sense in dragging your feet on this. Notice that my costs are high and my revenue is 0 because I don't have anybody in the building yet. They're finishing off the walls first. Unlike in real life where you can leave things unfinished and then the construction of the office and the building takes kind of place at the same time because the skeleton's already built, we got to do everything. So that's why they're in here working. Got my repair guys going to work on that elevator. I hope that's not going to be a problem in the whole time we're in the game. And what I've created here is a skeleton. And so as these guys finish, now I have the ground floor, a first floor. This is where food and some stores are going to go. That gives us a nice breezeway through here. It's like a freeway inside of a building. And then we start building our offices up. So you know that a small office is 4 of these windows wide. So if we skip here, because we don't want to be on the ground floor, we don't want to be here because that would take the room away from the places where these guys are going to get lunch. And we go on both sides of this, we've created space. And we've just allocated space for rent. And she's going to pop up and yak at me all the time. Just get used to it now. So, near as I can tell, there's a method to the madness of this game. Even if you can bear with me, I'll try not to take all day. Fortunately, we haven't even hit 10 minutes yet. Of why I do the things I do in this particular game. Oops, not what I wanted. This is what I want. Wow. We should have at least 2 spaces here. That gets your guys, they'll get that finished. And then I'll show you what I'm thinking in my head. If it makes any sense, fine. If it doesn't, you have a better idea, let me know in the comments. Because I think a lot of people are trying to learn how to play this game. I search the internet all day today looking for ideas or photos. There's a lot of pictures of high rises. I'm not sure. I didn't see the same high rise over and over again from different sources. That doesn't fill me full of enthusiasm. So we're to a point. It's time to start installing some things. So we go into this, we look at this, we got these going. So when we think on, we got insurance, accounting offices, legal offices, and creative offices. Notice the bottom two are X'd out because there's requirements you got to meet before they can build those. So if you look at insurance offices and you hold your cursor over it, don't click on anything because that'll build it. You can see that this guy's gonna cost this. He pays X number per day. He needs electricity and he expects certain services just to move in the building. So keep an eye on that. I did not at first and I got yelled at. And when they get the sad face or the big frown face, which you'll see because it happens often, quite honestly, you have to fix that. And sometimes they move out before you can fix it. So accounting offices, you notice some of them want something. They want food courts. One guy does not. I like him a lot. We're going to use him first. These are the guys that only need electrical and don't need a telephone right this minute. Legal offices, we're not going to get to see anything about those yet. So all we can do is plant insurance and accounting offices down at the bottom levels. There's some other good reasons to do that as well. And I might as well mention it now because it's in my head. If I wait till later, I'll forget. So these lower renters, if for lack of a better term, provide the buffer of noise deafening or dampening so that when you build the more expensive things, they don't complain that it's too noisy or it stinks from the restaurants, I guess, or whatever, and they move out. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's plant. We got lots of insurance guys. So we could put an insurance guy everywhere, but let's plant this guy over here. And before we get excited, we're going to go down here. You guys, I'll talk about these buttons as I click them. I'm going to click this button here. This is about contracts. You do have contracts. I actually have entered into one just by playing the game, not in real life, okay? Which is the building has to get to a certain level and you get some money for it. The next one I almost always do right off the bat is the basic offices. These add a few dollars to your pocket and kind of give you, like over here you see basic offices. Look at that 0 of 4 thing. It helps me keep track of the course I'm on to get to certain levels in the game. And it'll make sense the more we play. So I've got 2 offices going to go in for these builder guys. And I'm not doing anything else yet. It's ready. And so we have this here. This is the ADA 360. It's a computer. It basically just gives you reports on things. I always look at utilities here. Keep an eye on it. We can't do anything about artwork yet because we don't have enough money. Construct offices for building consultants. We're not to that point yet. Build surfaces to support your building's tenants. Oh, we're into that zone. If you remember, that guy wanted specific things. Now, I can't see what he's gonna want. He wants copy services, and if you click on them, you can find them. All your services need to go below ground. I leave a minimum of 4 spaces next to the wire chases. You'll see why in a little while, but I would recommend you do it. That way you don't have to do so much depth. You can go as wide as you want initially. So if I go over here and I say go out 5, because I believe that's what the width of that is. a builder's going to come out. First thing they do, their number one priority is to set up the offices before they do anything else, even if there's other construction right next door. It's the first thing they do. So it takes them a second, they set it up, and then they'll come down here and do this. So I'm going to freeze it just because, and go back to wire, etc. And if you click on these triangles, you find out the only thing they really need is electrical. Thank goodness. So I can run this over. You know you're going to run it further, and you can skip over the elevator. It doesn't see it. It gives you credit for it though, and that's why the electrical is going to go up one side. Water and stuff, which isn't necessarily used immediately, but will be sooner or later up higher. I run it now because if you don't, there's nowhere to hide this box. So those are things I made mistakes about. So that's all gone. So remember, he needs copy services. So now we can open this box here, and there is copy services right here. Unfortunately, it's a little pricey, but once you build it, and I didn't do this at first, and people are going to say, well, it just costs a lot of money. You're right. What I found out is their happiness is better. If we look down here, over here in this square here, you have prestige, you have your population, and you have the population of visitors that will leave your building every night. You have your dollar amount here and how much money you're making per day. You have cash if you need a loan. Obviously, I'm in the way the game is played that hopefully I don't ever have to get a loan. Down here is called Buzz. Not important right this minute. It will be in a little bit. I don't know if I'll even mention it this go around or in this video. It just depends on how far I get with the construction. And then right here is influence. Again, something that doesn't happen immediately. It accumulates over time. It's just like having money, and it does things for you that improve your building and improve what you get to put in that building, and you want that to happen. So you have a bulldozer if you want to bulldoze anything in here. This is your construction and infrastructure button. This is electrical, like I said. This is offices, apartment rentals, restaurants, and stores. We don't have any stores yet because it requires us to do things before we even get started. So let's go ahead and get this building built. You won't necessarily see anything right up front, but he's less likely to move out because he's not happy because that stuff exists. Notice this one not only expects the copy services, but they want courier services. Now, if you wait till they ask, I found that sometimes it's too late and they're already down the road. And in this particular version of my play, because I did do the easiest version, I have the money to make them happy right away. And because my goal is to build the building, not to manage money. There's so much, I don't know if it's micromanagement or not. I'm not sure I can say that with 100%. There's a lot of management. Is it micromanagement? I don't know. I've been micromanaged and I've had to micromanage others in my career, and this is nothing like that. But there is a little bit of that to it. So let me get these guys out of their chair. They're always reading the paper and drinking coffee. And look, we have new workers because we have the copy center here. So they'll show up here. That'll make these guys happy. You can check here, and they'll check all of your offices, restaurants, retail, etc. to make sure that your buildings are in the best shape they can be. Because if you let things get dilapidated, people move out. So we got that set up, and now it's time to go back to her. Obviously, because I forgot, she needs courier services. So back to the opening the box. This is what I call it. That's really not what it is, but it works. They'll build that, and at the same time, I'm going to set up what I want to do, because I have an idea, and I'll show you here in a second, what the width of this elevator is as far as these buttons up here. You have overlays, you have your utility display, which is all your wiring, and the picture of your building. This here, if you go to elevators and you click that, that's the width of the people that are drawn to that particular elevator. The further away they get from that elevator, the less likely they're going to be happy to use it. I can't just find it any better. So we need to, I like to make the building a specific width to take advantage of that green light, if you will, that is the coverage of the elevator. So let's get started building some stuff. So we know that this width is 4 all the way down. So it's 1, 2, 4. And I just do that all the way out. And what this does, this gives me a pretty good start. They're going to work on that stuff. I still have room to build 2 more office spaces while they're doing their work. Not who I wanted to pick. We have more insurance agents coming in. You have nobody coming here because we need some food courts. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So while that's getting done, let's plunk down a food court. It doesn't matter what side you go to. You do have food court restaurants right now. You'll get cafes a little bit later. And one of the things I want to do is make sure I'm getting lunch. Whether you want burgers or hot dogs, let's pick burgers. And so basically my builders have their work cut out for them real quick. So they'll move fairly fast, which I appreciate. Like I said, their priority is building the spaces and the office spaces ASAP. Then they'll go back, finish walls, and work on anything else they need to finish. So stop right here. I usually wait for them to tell me that they need power. That way you're not guessing and you're not spending a lot of money you don't need. If you look in and you get close to that and you click on it, it's going to say we do not have enough electrical transformers in the building. So I don't know how I got there already. If you look at that, I think I'm fine. So it's funny that he would say that we're only using 50%. They don't need water. If you look, all they need is electrical line. So we're good to go. And see, poof. All good. So just about done with this. This gives us this. That helps. So now if I stop for a minute and I click on this one and I go to accounting offices, we're still waiting because there's not enough restaurants yet. So what I can do is, these are the cheapest guys in the game. I can go here and add another one. You notice one will leave and go and put it together. And what it is doing is I'm laying the foundation. My width is the initial width of the building I want for the center elevator. I can go a little further if I want, but not a whole lot. And I am one of those that's very careful to stop the game or while I'm doing the work. I mean, it's cheating, but it's a Sandlot type game. I can slow things down. Oh my goodness, does this take a long time? And this video would be 4 hours long if I did that. So I'm speeding it up also to make it easier for you to see what I'm talking about. So they've got some work to do still. Nothing I can do about it because I've got to get some things going on. I've noticed that a lot of people put all of their legal guys down here right away. And what it does is it creates that layer of of small offices that provides a little bit of a buffer from the noise, the smells, and stuff that are going to come from the restaurants. It's just a fact of life. Could you do a buffer floor? Yeah, you could. Pricey. We will do that later when we have a little money in our pocket. But right now, even though I have 15,000 and I could just push it to the limit, that's not the point of this particular video. We're going to get it to a point and then we'll stop and then come back to it in another video to kind of start kicking it in gear, if you will. So they're going to take forever at the slow speed. I always make them go fast after 5 o'clock in the afternoon because they can get everything done. So this doesn't look very good yet. I made 500 bucks. Hey, could be zero. What I want you to see is that green arrow starting to point up. That's always a good thing. The expenses, that doesn't mean that you're losing money. What it is that the things you're doing are costing less or you're not spending that money. And so I don't mind either way. So I think I'm just going to put the next guy in here just because I want the construction. If you guys know, and you're using the mouse, the right mouse button backs you up. Your left mouse button is the one that moves you left and right. That's one thing I like about the biggest building is you can zoom out quite far. In the smaller building you cannot, and I don't necessarily always like that. So we got this going on here. Let's do this. And I usually click one time first. See, notice how it says destination not available. Well, yeah, it didn't even give me time to install that. And number 2, always a wiring closet and a water closet, which also moves gas, which isn't important here, but some of the restaurants you'll build in this corridor here will need this piping. So you might get it out of the way now because you're burying this stuff underground. So let them work on the upper floors and hopefully get some stuff going on. Because not only you're dealing with these people, you're trying to attract people from outside of the business to come in and have a little bite. So we'll add a restaurant. There's a little part of this game that's kind of a numbers game, if you will, where you need certain numbers of items. And if it seems like I'm not making any sense, I'm also trying to remember for you guys everything I wanted to remember to tell you, because it's not as simple as I thought it was. It's a little more complicated. It's not building a real life high rise, but there are parts of it that you have to think ahead of so that you get them in the right place. Notice that these things are next to it. If I had, and I've seen this in videos where somebody puts this box underneath here, that's great, but if you build something else on here and you want this line to run horizontal and you don't have a wire chase, my experience is that you cannot extend wire on that floor. And you can add a wire chase over here just to get over it, but now you're taking up space that this gets crammed after a while. So I just let the chase go up and down the entire height of the building, both of them, and lay the infrastructure, the electrical, and etc. to the side of it. I haven't had a problem. Where I forgot to run this and I stuck this under here, I had some problem below. Somebody could probably tell me, oh, how could you be so foolish? You could have just done this and fixed it. I didn't see that, and I did what I thought worked, and I moved along. So getting to the second floor is a good start, because as better stuff starts showing up. We've got 3 insurance agents already. We should be able to start putting some accountants in, and maybe even some lawyers. So as I add, and remember, it doesn't cost anything to create this space. Now I won't be able to do anything where those guys are standing, but now I know the width of my hallway is 4, and that's basically, if you look at the elevator, that's about the width. So it's easier to go up than it is to go width-wise early on. So they're doing their thing. Let's see who's available to us if we go up on a floor. All right, we added some of that, and now we have legal. So we added some friends that we didn't have before. So I'll put him there. I'll put an accounting guy there. That's good stuff. Down here, like I said, I like to do the inexpensive guys. They nobody checks each other to see if they're too close to each other. I used to think you had to have certain amounts of different ones. That isn't necessarily it. We don't have nearly enough to get the creative offices yet, and we want them higher up the building because they don't like the noise and they'll leave. So where was I? All right, one more over here. All right, those first 2 give us a barrier of 2 offices before we start putting in the important guys. It does make a difference. So all right, I need wiring, and I'll go out to the end of the spaces here, because you know and I know we are going to use them. Now I have a chance to come in here and fill this one. So I've tried it both ways, only moving wire where you absolutely need to move wire, and honestly I can't tell you one way or the other if it made any difference. Now here's one for you that make you shake your head at me. This is the first time somebody wants a phone, and the upside of it is I also got 1 prestige while I was dealing with everything else. That 1 prestige allows you to help build additional things. But now, before I can do anything else, I have to come over here and do this because somebody needs a phone. Now, I've watched people not put in the accountants and stuff, which I believe is what this is. Yeah, it's a CPA. See, he wants that phone. And they try to install those later. I don't know. I don't know that it makes that much sense. I just would rather they just get it done. Now, he may be mad at me, but see, I got my proof of concept contract out of the way. Obviously, financially, it wasn't that big a deal. And we'll look at contracts again in the next video. Right now, I want to get to a point where we're ready to go. Come on, guys. Get this thing put together and get down here and get this thing built. There we go. See, now I have 2 that need a telephone, which is important. And I would really love to be able to hire more workers. Not allowed in this game. You get them, but you get them later in another way. So you just got to deal with it. So I have enough that I can come in here and put a phone box in underneath. And as you know, lay that right next to there. I'm not worried about water right this minute, but that gets me taken care of. Now I can run my wires up here and see we're already out of power. And so for right now, I'm going to do this. That'll give me another 10. That'll get me out of this jam. See, he's mad at me because I made him wait too long. Hopefully he'll chill out. And so sun comes up, people should start showing up for work, and maybe not. There they come. Notice the bus stop is clear over here. They got quite a ways to walk just to get to work. And as we're doing this, we still don't have creative offices because we don't have enough cafes, which I'm waiting for one in particular, and I'm hoping I can get it here shortly. And then I can end the video for the day. I see that city's economy is slowing thing. I haven't seen anything that really freaks me out about it. So I haven't been paying much attention to it. What I'm trying to find is, see, I got my cafes. Whew. All right, what that allows me to do is to get coffee and breakfast. And I want coffee and breakfast. I don't want lunch and coffee and bakery. I want breakfast because that's the one thing we don't have. These two serve lunch. What that's going to do is all of a sudden I'm going to be able to build some other things. So I'm going to fill the spaces with the two lowest paid guys, lowest priced places, and then we'll go ahead and not worry about it. So we got to 5 o'clock again. They're all gone. Here we are waiting to see what happens. I'm at 37 minutes. If you guys don't mind, I'll go a little bit further on the first one. We won't be playing Yakety Yak in the next video, I promise. Okay, now I can start putting some more important renders up higher, and they won't get mad at me and leave too soon. So we'll speed these guys up, get them going to work. As you look here, I don't have any of those guys right now. He just needs a line, so I will be happy to give him one. He already got it. That's right, I did already do that. So we're cleaning that up. What we've got to do here is run an ad. And we're going to run 2 ads because I want those people to show up. Notice that this is slowly climbing. It's getting better. I'm halfway there. I've watched people in the version that's a little harder. They really got to squeak for every dollar. For me this time, because I'm teaching myself how to play the game, I'm not as worried about cost issues right this minute. I'll come back and play a harder version and tiptoe through waiting to earn the money you need to build the next thing. We're not really there yet. And all I need for creatives, and see, I've got them, and that's cool, is getting this third coffee shop. That's what gave me those others, and then we'll be filling this up in the next video. So you saw what I did here. Basically picture the same thing over here, and they walk right past it. It doesn't block anything. So if I remember right, creative offices will need a supply store. So that's something that we'll build in the next video. So here we are. I almost got these filled out. I don't know. Oh, he's looking for telephone. Yikes. At least I have it. But he's clear at the end. So that's going to cost me a few bucks. But it's not as expensive as it could be. And over time, as finances start getting better, you're not freaked out about it, and his little temper tantrum will go away. So let's freeze. We're at well over 35 minutes. And here we are on day one of me playing this game, and amongst all the other games I'm playing. I like it so far. It's tripped me up a couple of times, and I'm working on it. And as I find those things out, I'll let you guys know about it, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes excuse me, in this game that I have. If you like this game, and either you're playing it already or you're thinking about purchasing it, let me know. I want to hear what you're thinking about the game, and if you've seen something that I'm doing in the game that just doesn't make any sense to you, I'd love to hear from you. So with that said, thanks so much for coming by my channel again and checking out another video in a different vein, if you will, than what I usually do. And I'll put this thing together and get it up ASAP. If you like the video and you like this type of gameplay, leave me a like. And comments. I respond to everything I see that requires an answer. Sometimes I just say hey or hi or what's going on. In any event, if you like my channel and things are coming together and you think it's going in the right direction, let me know by subscribing. It's how I measure how well I'm doing and what I need, any changes I need to make or additions I need to make the channel something that people want to come to and see. So with that said, again, thank you so much for coming by. I'll get to work on this right now. It'll be up probably tomorrow early. And I wish you a good day or a good night, depending on what side of the earth you're on. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.